How can a city this large, a glittering oasis of light and sound, exist in one of the hottest deserts on Earth? The Strip blazes. Desert, Hoover Dam, Lake Mead, fountains, humming rooftops, racing freeways. Without one extraordinary engineering system, none of this would exist. This is not a story about winning or losing, it's about the monumental effort required to keep this impossible jewel alive. To truly comprehend the miracle of Las Vegas, you must first understand the world it was born into. This is the Mojave Desert, a vast and silent expanse of rock and sand stretching across 4 states. It is a landscape sculpted by extremes, a place where survival itself is a testament to resilience. Before the neon glow, this was a world of stark, unforgiving beauty, where the horizon seems to stretch into infinity and the silence is broken only by the whisper of the wind. It is a land fundamentally hostile to the very idea of a city. The soil is thin, alkaline, and baked into a concrete-like crust. The air is so dry it can feel like it's pulling the moisture directly from your skin. This is a place of profound scarcity, an environment that has spent millennia perfecting the art of repelling large-scale settlement. Summer temperatures regularly soar past 110 degrees Fahrenheit, pushing the limits of human endurance. Days can reach a blistering 120 degrees, a heat so oppressive it can cause heat stroke in minutes and turn exposed metal into a searing hazard. The nights offer little relief, often remaining stubbornly warm, and it is defined by what it lacks. Most critically, water. Las Vegas receives, on average, a mere 4 inches of rain per year. To put that in perspective, that's less than 1/10 of the rainfall in New York City. The sky above is a vast, empty canvas, rarely offering the clouds that promise relief. The natural springs that gave Las Vegas its name, the meadows in Spanish, were a precious but finite resource, barely enough to sustain a small outpost. For most of its history, this valley was little more than a dusty railroad stop, a waypoint in the vast emptiness. Its growth was constrained by the ironclad laws of desert ecology. The town's population was tethered to the output of its wells, a natural limit that seemed permanent and absolute. A major city here was not just improbable, it was considered impossible. But then, a demographic detonation. A mass migration into one of the least hospitable places on the continent. An explosion of growth that defied all logic and all natural law, spreading across the desert floor like a phosphorescent bloom. So if the resources for this city don't come from the desert itself, where do they come from? How can a metropolis of millions thrive where there is no water? The answer required a shift in perspective, a willingness to look far beyond the immediate horizon. The answer lies hundreds of miles away, born in the snowmelt of the Rocky Mountains. This is the Colorado River, a sprawling, powerful artery of water that is the true hidden source of Las Vegas's improbable existence. It carves a 1,450-mile path through 7 U.S. states and 2 Mexican states, a lifeline for 40 million people. For a century, the American West has treated this river not as a natural wonder, but as a utility, a plumbing system to be controlled, diverted, and consumed. The battle over its water began long before Las Vegas was a city of consequence. In 1922, the 7 basin states signed the Colorado River Compact, a landmark agreement that sliced the river's flow in 2. The upper basin states and the lower basin states were each allocated 7.5 million acre-feet of water per year. It was a political solution based on flawed science, drafted during an unusually wet period. The negotiators overestimated the river's average flow, a mistake that would haunt the region for the next century, creating a system where more water was promised on paper than often existed in reality. Nevada, with its tiny population and arid landscape, was granted the smallest share of all, just 300,000 acre-feet, a mere 4% of the lower basin's allocation. It seemed like more than enough at the time. No one could have imagined what was to come. 90% of the city's water begins its journey here. But the river does not naturally flow through the Las Vegas Valley. It passes 30 miles to the south, a tantalizingly close but inaccessible torrent locked away within the deep, formidable walls of Black Canyon. To claim that water, to build a city in the desert, first required taming the river itself. To bring the water to the city required an act of monumental engineering, a project of such staggering scale and ambition, it seemed to belong to the realm of mythology. It required this, the Hoover Dam. In the midst of the Great Depression, it was the most ambitious public works project of its time, a symbol of American determination against both economic collapse and the forces of nature. With a quarter of the nation unemployed, the promise of a steady paycheck drew thousands of desperate men and their families to this desolate corner of the Mojave. They came from all over the country, forming a makeshift city of tents and shacks known as Ragtown, enduring squalor and extreme heat for a chance to work. The work was brutal and perilous, performed in a scorching canyon where summer temperatures soared to 120 degrees. The official death toll stands at 96 men, but many believe the true number is higher, not counting those who died from heat or from the deadly carbon monoxide fumes inside the tunnels. The most dangerous job belonged to the high scalers, who dangled from ropes 800 feet above the canyon floor, chipping away at loose rock with jackhammers and dynamite. They were the first to go in, acrobats of industry risking their lives for $4 a day. Before the dam could rise, they first had to move a river. 4 enormous tunnels, each 56 feet in diameter, were drilled through the solid rock of the canyon walls. It was a gargantuan task, requiring the removal of over 1.5 million cubic yards of rock. In November 1932, after 2 years of relentless blasting and drilling, they blew the temporary coffer dams. The Colorado River, for the first time in its geological history, was forced from its bed, diverted around the construction site. The canyon floor fell silent and dry, exposing the bedrock where the foundation of a legend would be laid. Then, the symphony of concrete began, a continuous 2-year-long pour, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A bucket of wet concrete, weighing 18 tons, was delivered from the cableways above every 78 seconds. But the dam could not be built as a single, monolithic block. The chemical reaction of curing concrete generates immense heat. A single pour of this magnitude would have taken over a century to cool, and the resulting stress would have caused the structure to crack and crumble into ruin before it was ever completed. The solution was an act of engineering genius. The dam was constructed as a series of 230 interlocking vertical columns. Embedded within this concrete labyrinth was an ingenious refrigeration system, over 580 miles of 1-inch steel pipes. A massive, purpose-built refrigeration plant on-site chilled river water, which was then circulated through the pipes, drawing the heat out of the curing concrete. It was like a giant refrigerator, artificially aging the structure, ensuring its strength and stability for millennia to come. Once a section was cooled, the pipes were filled with grout, becoming a permanent, integrated part of the dam itself. Completed in 1936, 2 years ahead of schedule, the result was a structure of incredible strength and elegant simplicity. A masterpiece of the Art Deco era, it was more than just a barrier. It was a hydroelectric powerhouse. The same river it tamed would now be forced through massive turbines, generating billions of kilowatt-hours of clean electricity to power the explosive growth of Los Angeles, Phoenix, and the tiny, burgeoning town of Las Vegas. The dam created Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in the United States, storing 2 years of the river's entire flow. It was the key that unlocked the Southwest. It held the water, it generated the power, and in doing so, it made the impossible possible. The desert could now be conquered. The dam created the largest artificial reservoir in the world, a vast, seemingly limitless bank account of water that fueled the explosive growth of the entire Southwest. But that era of boundless confidence has ended. Today, Lake Mead is the most visible symbol of a deepening crisis. This pale scar is a haunting and unmissable monument to the trillions of gallons of water that are no longer there. Since the year 2000, the lake's surface has dropped by more than 170 feet, a victim of a historic climate change-fueled drought and a century of overuse. The falling water has unearthed long-hidden secrets, from lost towns to human remains, adding a macabre twist to the unfolding crisis. This is not a distant problem. The depletion of Lake Mead is a direct and existential threat to the survival of Las Vegas. Faced with this existential threat, Las Vegas has done something truly remarkable. The city that personifies excess has become an unlikely and highly effective champion of water conservation. The secret lies in a critical distinction between indoor and outdoor water use. Outdoor water is consumed, lost to evaporation, but indoor water, that's a different story entirely. Every drop of water that goes down a drain in a Las Vegas home, hotel, or casino is meticulously captured. It's sent to an advanced treatment facility where it is rigorously purified to meet or even exceed strict federal drinking water standards. This highly treated water is then returned to Lake Mead, earning the city return flow credits. This brilliant legal and engineering loop allows Las Vegas to recycle nearly 100% of its indoor water. The results are stunning. While its population has exploded in recent decades, the city's total water consumption from the Colorado River has plummeted. This remarkable efficiency in water recycling is paired with an equally aggressive war on the city's thirstiest, most visible culprit, non-native grass. While the fountains of the Strip are allowed to flow using non-potable water, the residential lawn has become a public enemy. The Southern Nevada Water Authority literally pays residents and businesses to tear out their turf, a program so successful it has become a model for other arid cities. For every square foot of grass replaced with desert-friendly landscaping, a cash rebate is offered. This Cash for Grass initiative has already removed millions of square feet of thirsty lawn, saving billions of gallons of precious Colorado River water every single year. The visual transformation of the city's suburbs is striking, a slow, deliberate retreat from the aesthetic of the American dream to one of pragmatic survival. It is the central paradox of Las Vegas, a city that projects an image of limitless abundance, of impossible luxury in the heart of the desert, while its very existence is governed by a ruthless, behind-the-scenes culture of conservation. The opulence is a carefully managed stage play, and the audience is not meant to see the complex machinery operating just out of sight. But water is only half of the equation. The city's lifeblood isn't just H2O, it's also the invisible yet equally vital flow of electrons. The survival of modern Las Vegas depends on another equally critical resource, a relentless, uninterrupted flow of electricity. Without it, the lights go out, the slot machines fall silent, the fountains cease to dance, and most critically, the air conditioning stops. In a place where summer temperatures routinely soar above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, a sustained power outage isn't just an inconvenience, it's a life-threatening emergency. The city is a massive, energy-hungry organism, and its appetite is insatiable. Millions of lights, nearly 150,000 hotel rooms, 24-hour casinos, and the constant city-wide hum of air conditioning create an astronomical demand for power. This demand isn't steady. It surges and ebbs with the rhythm of the day and the season. The greatest challenge is managing the peak load, the moment of maximum electricity consumption, typically on a scorching summer afternoon when every AC unit in the valley is running at full blast. Meeting this peak requires a complex and diverse portfolio of power generation, a delicate balancing act between legacy infrastructure and the energy sources of the future. The story of power in Las Vegas begins here, at the Hoover Dam. For decades, its massive turbines, spun by the force of the Colorado River, provided the cheap, clean, and abundant hydroelectricity that first made the city's explosive growth viable. It was the engine that built the fantasy, transforming a dusty railroad town into a global destination. But as the water level in Lake Mead relentlessly drops, the dam's ability to generate power declines with it. The head, or the vertical distance the water falls to the turbines, is shrinking. Lower water pressure means the turbines spin with less force, generating less electricity. Once the backbone of the region's power supply, the mighty Hoover Dam can no longer quench the city's thirst for energy on its own. Its output has fallen by more than 25%, forcing the city to look elsewhere. To compensate for the decline in hydropower and to meet the ever-growing demand, the region has become heavily reliant on other sources, primarily natural gas power plants. These facilities can be fired up quickly to meet peak demand, providing crucial stability to the grid. But they come with a profound irony. To generate electricity, these thermal power plants themselves require vast amounts of water for cooling, consuming the very resource the city is desperately trying to save. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. As climate change brings hotter temperatures, the demand for air conditioning and electricity rises, forcing gas plants to run harder and consume more water, further straining the shrinking Colorado River. In response to this dilemma, Nevada is aggressively pursuing a solution that leverages its most abundant natural asset, the sun. The Mojave Desert is one of the best places on Earth for solar power generation. Vast solar farms are being constructed across the state, converting intense sunlight directly into clean electricity. These photovoltaic arrays, along with large-scale wind farms, are diversifying the state's energy mix and reducing its carbon footprint. The city's own government buildings, streetlights, and parks are now powered by 100% renewable energy, a major step towards sustainability. Yet even this solution isn't a silver bullet. Solar power is only generated during the day, while Las Vegas's energy demand is famously 24/7. This entire, intricate engineering marvel, the complex web of water pipes, treatment plants, power lines, and generating stations, exists to serve one primary purpose: tourism. The city's economy is almost entirely dependent on the continuous arrival of visitors, over 40 million of them in a typical year. Each one expects a seamless experience: a cool room, a hot shower, a bright casino, and an endless array of entertainment. They are the lifeblood of the city and the reason for its immense resource consumption. Supporting this population is a daily logistical miracle. It is a constant, precisely choreographed flow of food, beverages, linens, and supplies trucked in from across the country. And it is a constant, massive removal of waste, from garbage and recycling to the treated water returning to Lake Mead. Every day, the city's support systems perform a feat equivalent to servicing a major international event, and then they wake up and do it all over again. This is the unseen machine that powers the fantasy. A city built for spectacle, supported by a hidden world of relentless, complex, and increasingly fragile engineering. For every dazzling light on the Strip, there is a transmission line stretching across the desert. For every drop of water in a fountain, there is a pump, a filter, and a sophisticated algorithm ensuring not a gallon is wasted. It is a system of breathtaking scale and ingenuity, pushed ever closer to its limits by the very climate that makes it all possible. For all its triumphs of engineering and sheer audacity, the entire Las Vegas enterprise rests on a knife's edge. The complex web of dams, pumps, and power lines that sustains millions in the desert is a marvel, but it is not infallible. This brings us to the most terrifying question of all. What happens if something fails? What happens when the gamble finally runs out of luck? The most immediate threat is the one that has haunted planners for decades: the failure of the water supply. As Lake Mead has receded, it has crept dangerously close to a condition known as a dead pool, where the water level falls below the dam's lowest water outlets. For years, the city drew its water from two primary intake pipes, set at different elevations. But as the lake shrank, the highest intake went dry, a silent concrete monument to a wetter past. The second intake was perilously exposed. Imagine the lake drops below the final of these original intakes. In that instant, the physical connection between Las Vegas and 90% of its water is severed. The pumps would gasp on air, their hum replaced by an alarming silence. The city would have only days of stored reserves. Panic would be immediate. Supermarket shelves would be stripped bare. The fountains would run dry. The golf courses would turn to dust, and the taps in millions of homes would yield nothing. A water crisis would rapidly escalate into a full-blown humanitarian crisis, triggering a mass evacuation on a scale rarely seen. The glittering oasis would be rendered uninhabitable, but Las Vegas did not wait for this doomsday. In a monumental feat of proactive engineering, the Southern Nevada Water Authority drilled a new tunnel, 3 miles long, deep beneath Lake Mead. Known as the third straw, this intake sits far below the others, near the very bottom of the reservoir. It's an insurance policy against catastrophe, designed to keep water flowing, even if the lake drops to levels once thought impossible. It was an audacious billion-dollar bet on survival, complemented by a new low-level pumping station, ensuring the city can pull water until the lake is nearly empty. Yet water is only half of the equation. Imagine a different scenario: a prolonged power outage during the peak of summer. A failure not of water supply, but of the energy needed to make the city livable. With temperatures soaring past 115 degrees Fahrenheit, air conditioning is not a luxury. It is the city's life support system. When it fails, the glass and steel towers that define the skyline become deadly heat traps. The vulnerable would be the first to suffer. Without cooling, homes and hospitals would be overwhelmed. The city's infrastructure, from traffic signals to water pumps, would grind to a halt. The engineering that was once a symbol of dominance over nature has become a fragile lifeline, its failure threatening to turn a modern metropolis back into the harsh desert it was built upon. Las Vegas may look like a city of infinite luxury and illusion, but beneath the neon and the casinos lies one of humanity's greatest and most precarious engineering achievements. It is a testament to human ingenuity, a constant, high-stakes battle against the forces of nature. This battle is not fought with concrete and steel alone. It is fought in boardrooms and through painstaking negotiations with the 6 other states that depend on the Colorado River. Every gallon saved, every new conservation agreement signed is another chip stacked in Vegas's favor. The city's survival depends on this delicate dance of technology and diplomacy. Without water, without electricity, without constant innovation and cooperation, the dream of Las Vegas disappears, reclaimed by the desert that was always waiting.